Lead State Monitor.
Thank you, Doug. Again, good afternoon. I've waited 3 years for this moment of throwing away all the papers. And it finally came when Hancock came to our rescue. I can remember the days that sitting at my desk, trying to go through 10 or 12 DUR. Back then it was called dwelling unit reports on paper to try to digest all the costs and the measures, contractors, mistakes, agency mistakes. Sometimes it took an hour just to go through 4 or 5 dwelling unit reports before we even got in the field. So I'm very happy. Some of the benefits that have been shared with the monitoring staff are very, very helpful to us. Like for instance, the program allows you to not have to enter a lot of different information because they have a drop-down menu, which saves, on average, probably 20 or 30 minutes in doing the audit itself. And having the ability to upload photos and they attach directly to the work order, this feature is very important and very helpful to the contractor when he goes out to price the job. So now, does he not, he has the work order in addition a photo, so that just in case he don't understand the writing, he has a photo to back it up. So it works real well, and we require from the state, each agency upload before and after photos of each job, dwelling on the main issues, mainly attic, how it looked before it was air sealed, and what it looked like after they blew the insulation. If the contractor has to replace a furnace, we want to know why. If it just had a little rust on it, and the auditor thought that it wasn't going to last for another 2 years, he could go into Hancock and say it wasn't working. So in addition to that, we require a combustion test to measure the efficiency. That also lets us know whether that unit should be replaced or repaired, depending on what's wrong with it. The tracking feature in Hancock, very, very good. It's a tool that we use that is a critical process to ensure the quality of the houses that are completed out there. The status of the agency's jobs can be tracked at any time, which allows the state monitors to be able to see exactly where each job is in each stage. For instance, if a job is set up to be audited, the monitor can choose to accompany the auditor at that job, or he can pop up. Sometimes they don't know the exact time, but at least we got the date. He can look at a job in progress, and using this tool, we go out on what they call a train and technical assistance visit, where the contractor or the auditor may have some issues that they are concerned about. The contractor may not be able to determine what kind of treatments the attic really needs, and he can't get the blower door numbers down. Those kind of issues, we go out on training and technical assistance. And lastly, the post-inspection, where this is where the monitor actually tags jobs in Hancock to inspect. That's where we get our 5%, although we go over the 5%. But DOE says we must do at least 5% of quality assurance inspections. And the best part about this software is that, you know, we have gotten away from using paper and allowed the Hancock software to guide us through the audit process, which has become very, very, I would say it's probably one of the best moves that we could have made, because if we hadn't, we've been in trouble right now. So being able to see an invoice along with the audit, this is part of our monitoring process. We go in and we tag a case to be looked at, and we tag it when it's invoiced. So what that means, once we tag the case, it cannot be paid until it passes our inspection. And for the most part, we have pretty good contractors. Most of them pass on the first go round. If we have to fail a case, the next time around, the contractor does a better job, because everyone wants to get paid as soon as possible. Also, the audit and the invoice checking, you know, we do to make sure that the information is filled out properly, all the measures are consistent with cost, and that the job was funded through the correct funding source. And the actual screen for the state monitor, if we can go to that screen. Okay, perfect. All the way at the bottom is the comment section. It has a lot of space to make a lot of comments, just in case we run out of space in the measure section. And as you can see, it allows us to either pass or fail a measure. And if we fail it, the agency does what they call a rework, and then the failed measure pops back up in the inspection screen for the agency, as well as the monitor screen for the monitor. Then we can go back in and pass the failed measure. Thank you. You know, we can produce a lot of different reports. The reports that we use the most and the most beneficial to the agency are the report by agency, job produced, and inspected. This report is very important because it tells us on a weekly basis or monthly basis how many jobs that we inspected and whether they pass or fail, and also whether the jobs are still outstanding after a certain period of time. It also will allow the agency to keep track of their contractors in the sense that they will know what contractors are doing good, what contractors are doing fail, or what contractors are doing poor based on the quality assurance inspection from the state. The job process report, which is also one of the reports that we use the most, allows us to see at a glance where the agency is from week to week and meeting their or exceeding their production goals. It is important to the monitor staff because we can see from the agency production numbers whether we need to step in and give them any kind of help, be it a technical assistance help or giving more advice and instruction to the auditor. Okay. And if we go into the site assessment page, audit info, this is the first page that the auditor sees when he is out doing his site assessment. I'm going to point out one particular measure, or not a measure, but one item here that is very, very important. That is the house dimensions. The house dimensions is not only measuring the length and width of the house, but it is the starting point to get an idea of how leaky that house is based on the square footage. Now, what we do with this screen is when we first go in, we look at the measurements, and then we go to the air infiltration screen. Can we go there, air infiltration? Now, if I was monitoring this particular case and I noticed that we had 1,000 feet square house, 1,000 foot square house, starting CFM was 7,000, and they reduced it down to 1,200. That's going to raise a flag, not unless you had 4 or 5 2-foot holes in each ceiling leading to the attic, and you had 3 or 4 windows open. This is the only way that house could be that leaky. So thank you on that screen. So basically, this is the starting point for the auditor as well as the state monitor. And every section of the audit form is set up in a way that it helps the auditor to enter the information. Case in point, let's go to the windows and doors section. Okay, at the top, it shows actually for the type of window that it has, what the existing R value is, how many windows are in the house, length and width. Okay, so now we don't install windows per se, only if the window is not a window or the door is not a door anymore. So you are listing the condition of those windows if you was going to exchange it anyway. And then at the bottom of the screen is where the auditor or the QC person would install the actual measure, whether it was a window or replacing a lock or doing some trim work to the window itself. Okay, so the whole audit is really a tool that the auditor uses to get the information that he needs. So we go into a house, he comes out with a completed house, and that information is transferred to the contractor, who then goes in to complete the job. And once the job is complete, then the state makes payment. And we only buy a completed house, which means if it fails, we don't pay until it's complete. So overall, the Hancock system has really been a blessing in disguise, because it has allowed us to increase our numbers. It has allowed us to do more inspections. It has allowed the agencies to produce more numbers. And the bottom line is, DOE, it's IRA funds, they want numbers. But, the state also wants quality work. So, not only do we look at fire, but I think we're running about 30% quality control right now. So I thank you for the opportunity to present to you today, and I'm going to turn it over to Barry and Drew.